So this is my Berkeley move-in video. Granted, it's been 2 weeks since we moved in, but hey, it's been a stressful 2 weeks. So let me set up the story for you. It was 1.5 weeks before school started. Everything was perfect. We visited SF for the first time. Like, we were just chilling. Everything was great in the world. I mean, we had the entire place to ourselves. And then, well, move-in week hits. Now, there were a bunch of problems 1 week before school started. First of which is that I didn't even have a proper bed to sleep on. It was literally falling apart. So first order of business was an IKEA run to get some furniture. And look, don't get me wrong, IKEA run was great. The problem is, I think we got the furniture about a week before our final exams because I took a summer class. So that basically didn't get done for a whole week. So 1 week after we bought the furniture, we finish our finals and then we finally get started working on the thing. And first day's progress was okay, except we hit a bit of a snag on the second day. Okay, so it is tomorrow morning and here's the situation. So according to IKEA's instructions, we're supposed to use a hammer and then this thing to bang these screws in. And as you can see, these aren't the kind of screws that like just go in. They're more like these plastic nail things. Unfortunately, we don't have a hammer. So our solution yesterday was to try and take this and use the screwdriver's edge to... As you can see from all the unfinished things, it clearly didn't work. So I'm now on my way to get a hammer from Target, as well as Tupperware actually, because I've had to meal prep for 4 days, but I've been putting it off because I have nowhere to put it in. An additional complication is I have no idea if the Target I'm going to even has hammers or Tupperware. Anyway, on my way back from Target, I'm just walking and I see an independent bookstore. Now, we don't have too many of those back in Singapore. I mean, they've been closing left and right. So it was nice to see one, and I may have gotten a bit sidetracked because in this independent bookstore, there was a selection of books that blew my mind. And look, I couldn't help myself. I was extremely in the mood to get a book then, and I ended up doing an impulse buy. I got this, which is a history of Western philosophy by Bertrand Russell. I think it's kind of outdated. Anyway, Target did have a hammer, so that was successful. Finally, I had a proper working bed to sleep in. Now I have this piece of shit bed taking up space, and I had to dismantle the entire thing and then get rid of the entire thing. Like, one by one, I had to take those things down and throw them. That was cool. I meal prepped for the first time. It was kind of fun. I don't know how I'll find the time to do that consistently during semester, but it was cool. Now the thing is, because I wasn't living in a dorm, I didn't have to take a meal plan on my first semester. And so when I showed up off campus, I was like, everybody says the food's horrible, I'm not gonna take it. That wasn't a good idea. Dorm food is actually pretty good. Admittedly, it's hit or miss, but trust me, you, and definitely me, are gonna miss more than the dorm people do. So, tip for incoming Berkeley students, if you have the choice to take a meal plan and this is your first time on campus, take the meal plan. And so now I finally had a bed and a functional room, and then all my friends started showing up. Anyway, Samarth was living in Unit 2, and Unit 2 is the place I would have stayed if I had been able to come to campus. When he showed up from the airport, he put his stuff at my place, and then we had to take this giant bucket cart and move it all the way up to Unit 2 where he stays, and it's on a hill. But when I showed up, I had so much FOMO. I mean, sure, there was a ton of lines, and sure, the room isn't the biggest, but I could have gotten to live that dorm experience, and I'm not going to anymore. Now, the cool thing is, because of Twitter and because of this community I'd made called Enlight, I had a bunch of people who I knew from here who had never met in person, but we were pretty good friends. And so I got to meet all of these people. And between this and between the group of Singaporean kids I live with, I do have a big community of people to lean on. And just before school started, us Singaporean kids, we went on a nice road trip down south, and it was so cool. We visited a couple of places in California, visited the beach, played some volleyball, but it made me realize that I guess the important thing is having that community. And I know compared to a lot of people coming into college, like I was very lucky because I kind of had a pre-existing network coming in, even though I came in from halfway across the world. But I would say, like, do your best to find that community, because that's the thing that's going to be the foundation that supports you on, as I'm finding out, the extremely tiring and stressful journey that is university.